Khaenri'ah is devoid of any human-turned monster from the abyss. It does not have any human-turned monster. None of them. Not abyss mages, not lectors, heralds, rift hounds, or anyone that was turned into a monster during the cataclysm of Khaenri'ah. Why do I say this? Because all the monsters, the human-turned monsters to be specific, die when they go to Khaenri'ah. And how did I arrive at this very weird conclusion? Well, it is true that you get your most creative ideas in the shower, because I was standing in the shower thinking about what kind of video to upload, and I came up with this rather intriguing but mostly very dumb idea of a video. And I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you today in this video. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into why Khaenri'ah does not have any abyss monsters and why they all die as soon as they step foot into the ruins of Khaenri'ah. Also, a quick disclaimer before we begin this video, I have not done the latest 3.5 Archon quest that just came out. The one with Kaya and Dainsleif and that big crystal thing. I have not done it yet. So there's going to be no spoilers in this, and if I have missed any information from that, please comment down below, because I do not want to spoil myself with watching videos about it on YouTube. I am sorry if the information is not complete, but if I have missed anything, please comment down below and I will immediately add corrections to it. Thank you. Now, before we go into the theory part of this video, we need to know some lore about Khaenri'ah. Alright, so let's start with that lore section first. Now, Khaenri'ah was a nation that existed 500 years ago, but it was destroyed 500 years ago. It existed during the primordial era, the one where the primordial one ruled, and it was part of a huge ancient civilization, roots of which stretch out to Dragonspine and Inazuma, specifically in Kanomiya. All of them are part of that ancient civilization, and so was Khaenri'ah. Now, Khaenri'ah wasn't a normal nation. It was a nation without a god. Well, no, it didn't have a god to begin with. Its god didn't die or something like that, because Liyue still considers Rex Lapis as their Archon who has passed away, but Khaenri'ah never had an Archon to begin with. Now, why didn't it have an Archon? I have no idea, but I'm thinking it's because they believed in the primordial one's rule. And when the second who came defeated the primordial one, that's what I'm going to be assuming for this video, they did not like it, and they did not bow before the Archons. They set up their independent rule, still believing that the primordial one existed. And yep, that was a nation ruled by humans. Now, why was it destroyed 500 years ago? Well, it was because of some kind of a great mistake they made. It was either forbidden knowledge, they gained forbidden knowledge by any way, or it was because of their ruin machines. Yep, the ruin guards, ruin hunters, and every kind of ruin machine come from Khaenri'ah, or it was because of their alchemy art called Chemia. Now, Chemia was a very ancient alchemy art only known to the people of Khaenri'ah, and the alchemist Gold, or Rhine-daughter, the creator of Albedo basically, she used this art to create Albedo, Durin, and the Rift Hounds. Basically, this art of Chemia can give life. So maybe Celestia didn't like it and they destroyed the nation of Khaenri'ah because of either of these three reasons, or maybe even all of them. We do not know anything. Or maybe it was because, as some of the theorists have suggested, Khaenri'ah was full of the abyss monsters to begin with, and they spread to the world, much like corruption, basically. They corrupted the world like the dark mud in the chasm, and Khaenri'ah, Celestia I meant, seeing no way to stop it, had to destroy Khaenri'ah. Now, we're not going to dive into the exact reason of why Khaenri'ah was destroyed in this video, because that is not the topic of this video. Alright, so basically that's all you need to know for now about the lore of Khaenri'ah and everything. It was destroyed 500 years ago, and in this clip, the destruction of Khaenri'ah, where the Abyss sibling is shown kneeling down before it, feeling very bad, we can see these cubes, and they are suggested by many of the theorists to be the cubes of the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles. You know, the random unknown god we meet when we first start the game that captures the other twin and just yeets the traveler back to Tibet. Yeah, that girl right there, if you didn't remember her. And no, she is not Paimon. I've already suggested that Paimon may be the primordial one in my previous video, so you can go watch that right now. I'll be linking it down in the description. Alright? So, as some of the theorists, specifically as Ashikai has suggested, these blocks can trap people's soul inside it. And basically, the sustainer of Heavenly Principles cubes was actually saving the people of Khaenri'ah's souls, taking it out of Khaenri'ah because they were about to be destroyed. I am assuming this was after they were turned into monsters. Alright, so that ends the lore for Khaenri'ah. Now let's dive into the Abyss sibling. The Abyss sibling is the one that joins the Abyss Order as its prince/princess and is ruling it to overthrow the divine throne, or Celestia basically. Because they think that it's Celestia's fault that Khaenri'ah was destroyed. It may be their own fault because Khaenri'ah may have just spread all the monsters to the world and then Celestia really had no choice. But that's not the point. Alright, so the Abyss sibling is the complete opposite of the Traveler. And for this video, I'm going to be taking Loremine as my Abyss sibling as usual. Loremine has this flower in her hair. Now, what is this flower called? Well, this is also spoilers to the 2.6 Archon Quest, Requiem of Echoing Depths. This is a spoiler, so if you haven't done it yet, please click off this video right now if you don't want to get spoiled. Alright, so the flower that you have been warned, alright? The flower is called the Intevat, and it is originally from Khaenri'ah. Now, why does Loremine wear it? Because she landed in Khaenri'ah at first when she got to this world, much unlike Aether who landed in Mondstadt. Alright, so in this 2.6 Archon Quest, we see the Intevat flower laid out in front of the dying Hilichurls as a last mourning for them, basically. Now, Dane tells us that the Intevat flower wilts only after you bring it back to Khaenri'ah. If you take it out, its petals turn hard, but when you take it back, its petals turn soft and it dies. I'm going to let Dane do the explaining because I cannot find the words to explain this. Alright, so let's let Dane do the explaining here.
It is the national flower of Khaenri'ah, the Intevat. It once bloomed all over the nation. It would only last 2 weeks before wilting, but if you were to pluck one and take it out of Khaenri'ah, the petals would stop growing and turn hard. Only when it finally returned to its home soil would the petals grow soft once more, and finally turn to dust.
Alright, so we now know that when we take the flower outside of Khaenri'ah, its petals turn hard, and it does not wilt. It stays in the same state until you bring it back to its home soil. That's where it finally turns soft and then turns to dust. We know that much? Alright? So now, I am relating this Intevat flower with the people of Khaenri'ah. Why am I doing that? Because the flowers and the usual materials or the things that are native to that place usually represent its people or its policy. Like, for example, the dandelions and the windwheel aster and the cecilias represent freedom and, well, basically, yeah, freedom. And it belongs to the land of the wind, that is Mondstadt, land of freedom. And the cores, like the core lapis and basically the mining materials, the ores in Liyue, they represent rock-hard willingness and stability. Basically, Liyue, the land of contracts. And also the dendrobium in Inazuma represents bloodshed and sacrifice, which is basically Inazuma, the nation of eternity's thing, you know. Even the sea Ganoderma represents the unchangingness of the people of Inazuma, basically the nation of eternity. You get the idea, you know. So, this Intevat thing is native to Khaenri'ah, which means I can compare the people of Khaenri'ah to this Intevat. Now, what happens? This is where the theory part begins, alright? What happens when you take Intevat out of the native soil or Khaenri'ah? It turns hard. Turning hard is meaning staying alive for the rest of its life, being immortal, not changing. Its soul and body does not change. That's what happened to the people of Khaenri'ah. You can say that the curse of immortality means their bodies will never change with the passage of time. It ignores time completely. That's what happens to the intellect, you know. It's basically the same thing. The curse of immortality means that your body is never going to change with time. So you get the idea of why I'm comparing it. It's too big of a coincidence to just let go. So when you take it back to its home soil, the introvert's petals will turn soft and turns to dust, basically just dying away, finally achieving freedom or, well, salvation, you can say. It prefers to die in its home soil. And since Khaenri'ah has already been destroyed, we can consider the ruins of Khaenri'ah that will be playable in, hopefully, in a few years. So if you take these human-turned monsters and push them back into their home soil of Khaenri'ah, their curse will be cleansed. And as Dainsleif said in the 2.6 Archon quest,
perhaps it may be possible to suppress the corrosive effect of the curse for a time, but cleansing it entirely, consider it tantamount to burning away an integral part of your body. It is not a process that one could ever hope to survive.
so when your curse gets cleansed, your curse of immortality basically, it is not a process you can hope to survive. It's like burning away an integral part of your body, according to Dainsleif. And I'm going to trust him with this because he has lived with the curse for 500 years and he's completely sane right now. So, does that mean that when the Hilichurl's curse or the human-turned monster's curse gets cleansed, they wilt away, turn into dust, and finally die? So is that why Loremine, the Abyss sibling, couldn't rebuild the homeland at their original place? Or she would have done that, right? Building a homeland, like building a destroyed nation on its own soil itself, on the ruins of the previous nation, does sound practical because the climate is adjustable. But she knows that going there with the human-turned monsters will make them die. And maybe Loremine has the same curse, as she was also considered part of Khaenri'ah, and that is, she's part of Tibet because of the Irminsul recording her and everything. She may be cursed because she is considered part of Khaenri'ah. And she can't go there either because she will also die. Neither can Dainsleif or any other remaining member of Khaenri'ah. You see where I'm going with this? That's why when we reach Khaenri'ah, no abyss mages, no heralds, no lectors, nothing that was turned into a monster during Khaenri'ah's downfall. Now I know you might be thinking this theory sounds really whack, and that's what I thought at first. But then I looked at the, similarities between their native plants and everything and their people or their policy. And it just sounds reasonable to me. Now, none of this is confirmed, just saying once again, until MiHoYo confirms it 3 to 4 years later, and I cannot wait until that time. So if this turns out to be true, then I will feel bad for those little abyss thingies, whatever they are. But it also means that we won't have the need to fight them to get quests and chests to open, basically. And even commissions. We won't need to do any commission with that pesky abyss mage that keeps bugging you. Or the Electro abyss mage near the water. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, that was basically it for me today. I know this theory is a bit off track, but hopefully it proves correct. For now, I am not claiming it is correct. And if you have any corrections to it, please comment down below. And any correction that I feel needs to be added will be in the description. And yeah, that was it for me today. My name is Loremine. If you enjoyed this video, please go down there and click the like button and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a lot, guys. And I'll see you all in my next video. Have a great day. Bye!